Good morning. My name is Lee Matthew Jackson. You are joining me live as we ask the all-important question: how do we deal with overwhelm? Nobody said that agency life would be easy. Nobody said that running a business would be easy. In fact, it can be absolutely insane, and the stress, the pressure, it can feel overwhelming. How do you deal with that overwhelm? How do you deal with the stress and with the pressure when you are the boss, when the buck stops with you, when all is said and done? It is your business, it is your agency, and you have got to deal with it all. I'll be frank with you, I sometimes struggle. Sometimes I regularly struggle with that feeling of overwhelm. Let's be honest. When I recognize that the buck does stop with me, that I am responsible for my team, for salaries, for projects, for my clients' outcomes, all of these things can be overwhelming. They can feel like a huge responsibility. And when work piles up, when questions are asked in email, when tasks are assigned to me as the leader of the business, oh my word, I will hit that wall. I will feel the stress. I will feel the pressure. And perhaps I may even struggle to do the work. The overwhelm, the stress, the negativity of that feeling practically disables my ability to get the work done. I feel like I'm caught in this trap where more and more work is being fed in and less work is being output. I'm being dragged away from my family. I'm being dragged away from me time. All right, I've kind of set the scene there. If you resonate with any of that, just let me know. Let me know what overwhelm looks like for you. Yes, nobody said it was easy. So true. Thanks, buddy. But let me know, what does overwhelm look like for you? And I want to share with you a few things that I would implement to help me deal with overwhelm. And the biggest feeder of my overwhelm would be the big to-do list. And that to-do list would be things that I need to do, or things that I need to make a decision on, or things that the business needs to do as a whole, with the whole team, outcomes we need to achieve for clients, projects that we need to complete, all of those good things. So step one is I would write everything down. And there is some immense power in writing things down, normally because it's not as bad as you think. In most circumstances, that overwhelm, that feeling of stress and pressure is actually caused simply by tiredness, by not getting enough rest. And every extra little thing that you think is on your list, every piece of pressure you think is on your list, actually doesn't look that bad on paper. So I would encourage you, if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you feel like you've got too much to do, write everything down that is on your plate right now. And for me, in most circumstances, that relieves some of the pressure. Next, I would say prioritize. That came out wrong. Prioritize what needs to be done. When we have this huge list of things that we need to do, a lot of this time there's things on that list that are not as important as we'd made them out initially. They can be kicked down the road a little bit, and we can prioritize those all important tasks that we need to do, those things that we need to complete, those decisions that we need to make. Let's prioritize that which makes the list smaller, and let's move some of those other things down the road a little bit. Give ourselves a little bit of space. Next, I would reset expectations. There are going to be times when you've got too much on. There have been life circumstances that have taken you away from the office, etc. Whatever is going on, be honest with yourself, be honest with your team, be honest with your clients. If you need to reset, if you need some more space, ask for it and reset those expectations. We are all human, and unless your client is a complete jerk, they're going to understand that you need to move things around. I know there are some hard limits on certain projects. I get that, and they would be the priorities. But where there is space, where you can reset, where you can renegotiate, I would encourage you to go ahead and do that, to give yourself some breathing room. It's that feeling of not being able to breathe, that overwhelming sense of restriction of I've got to get all of this done, that can just feel so toxic and so overwhelming. Next, delegate. Delegate some of those activities that are on that list. What are the things that you can hand over to somebody else in your team or to a freelancer or a contractor? For example, in my own business in Event Engine, I'll very often have a list of digital venues that we need to build or event websites that we need to build, and I will selfishly take it all on myself, mainly because I absolutely love building them. But then when I do that, that means I'm not utilizing the rest of my team properly. I'm taking all the pressure. I'm starting to build up all this work for myself when actually I should be focused on client relationships and on other areas where my talents are best served. So what can I start to delegate out to the team? And at this point, I am preaching to myself, because I know how much I love doing these builds and how much I hog them away from all the other team members. So I'm very sorry. And finally, make some time for some rest. It's essential that on that list, there will be things that we can kick down the road. Therefore, let's use some of that time to take a rest. And a rest means turning off the computer, turning off the phone's notifications, staying away from email, staying away from contact, and actually having some form of rest. And I find you can't really take the rest if you've not done the writing and if you've not done the delegating and you've not sort of get everything out, because it's going to be playing at the back of the mind. So let's go over this. We first of all want to write everything down that we have. We feel overwhelmed. We feel like we've got so much on, so much pressure, so many decisions to make. Let's get it all written down, because, like I said, it feels less worse. That is not proper English. It doesn't feel as bad when you write everything down, because it doesn't look as bad. It doesn't look as scary. Then prioritize from that what needs to be done. Reset some of those expectations on the things that you can kick down the road. Delegate some of those activities. You've now got a lovely schedule. You've got a plan to deal with everything. You've written it all down. You've delegated some of them. You've reset some of those expectations. You've made a plan for how you're going to get everything done. Therefore, make time for rest. And I'm afraid you got to do the list bit first before you can rest, because I promise you, if you try and take a day off tomorrow without sorting anything out, without writing anything down, it will be playing on the back of your mind, and you will be feeling that stress. You will be feeling that overwhelm. Quick comment here from Tristan. Writing things down can help us think things through properly and makes them all much clearer. This is completely true. It's what I do. This is very helpful, actually, folks. I have one of these. I've been doing this for years now. We're in IT. I get it. We've got technology that we can utilize to manage our to-do lists. There is nothing better to me than writing it all in here. I can put dates. These are very, very simple pieces of paper. So I've got my date up here. I've got all my to-dos down here, which I can tick off and cross out. I've got some priorities I can write down here, and I've got some goals that I can track as well. Something nice and simple. Down here would go the weekly goals that I'm trying to achieve, so I can focus on those. My priorities here will be things that are a priority for this week. Perhaps it might be something boring like tax returns or whatever I'm doing. And then here are my general to-do lists. And I might also put a marker of 1, 2, 3, or 4, depending on the specific urgency or we'll just say urgency or the priority of those particular tasks. Having it all written down takes away that feeling of overwhelm, because as soon as I put that pad down and walk out of that door behind me, everything is on that paper. I don't need to hold it in. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to stress about it. I don't need to worry about forgetting things, because it's been written down and it's now there, ready for me to come back tomorrow morning and carry on. All right, folks. Thank you very much for listening to this old man share his thoughts on how to deal with overwhelm. Folks, have a wonderful day. I am off shortly to go and collect my new car, so I'm very excited. Keep your eye out on Instagram. That's Lee Matthew Jackson on Instagram. You will probably be seeing some excited stories from me. So have a wonderful day. Be good. And if you can't be good, be careful.